In a world where reader slumps for the fourth, maybe a bit less, I don't know, month, we invent a game because said reader is a child and she needs a game to get motivated. Coming to you literally now. Hello and welcome back. Behind me, you may notice, can't really notice, but there you go, 20 numbers, 20 D20 cutouts. And in my hands, I have this humble-sized D20 plushie, which actually started it all. I have gone to a Comic-Con and I got this, and then I felt maybe I should justify it somehow to myself, and of course that means making a TBR game, because that's just what I do. I just really wanted a proper excuse to roll this with consequences, and so here we are, taking you along the way. I'm completing this as I go throughout the month, hence why this is not a set up a TBR and then do the TBR later on. I found myself in a much more motivated state when I can do it one by one and then have that kind of push of looking forward to another something. There is a little bit of a system behind me. All of the books obviously are books I want to read either way, because I have done a very big culling of my books recently, and so everything that is left on my shelves should be in one way or another something that I would like to experience and like to try. So none of these books are gonna be, well, with one exception, none of these books are going to be something that I don't want to read, but I still wanted to have a system. So number 20 is my cheat roll. Obviously it's a natural 20. You want to get something really fun that feels a bit like a reward. I'm not gonna tell you what it is until we get it, but I have something in mind, and the thing on here is just a decoy because I do not have it physically. Numbers 19 to 11 is what I would like to call a safe-ish zone. Obviously I don't know until I read the books, but these are the books that I'm pretty highly anticipating. I try to rank them from, 19th is the highest and then lower, but I'm a mood reader, so this changes quite a bit. So but I tried my best, but again, by the time I roll this again, it might be a completely different order, but it should be still within that kind of range. 10 to 14 is what I call a risk zone. It's books that I obviously, again, want to read, but there is something about them that I don't 100% know is going to be necessarily for me, so it's just going to be a little bit of a slight risk, a bit riskier than the books above, but who knows. I have 2 spots at number 2 and number 3, and that is Face Your Fears. So it's a very low roll, obviously, but I didn't want to put books that I really don't want to read. I wanted to do it the opposite. So super high expectations for, which is why they are such a high risk, because I feel like I will be so disappointed if I don't end up loving them. And on top of that, I try to make them quite long. So, it's something that I want to read, but I put it off because I'm intimidated by them. So this is books that I'm really excited for, but I'm scared of them. And then number 1, the critical failure one. It's a punishment. I wanted something that would feel like, I think I'm gonna just let you know so you know what sort of risk we're facing, but Logan got me like a piss take. Well, I don't actually know if it's a piss take. Maybe it's written like seriously, but to us it was a joke with one another. It is at the core, Shrek erotica. So I'll keep the title, but you might have seen it already. But if I am unfortunate enough to roll a 1, apparently this is what I'm reading. So thankfully it's not super long, but I'm sure it will feel that way. The worst case scenario is I am actually into it, and then I have to question my whole existing and persona. But we'll get there. Or not. Have no idea if I'm gonna be reading, 1, 2, or 15 books this month. Last is probably not too likely, but I thought to make it a little bit more interesting, on top of that, each book should have a smaller card inside it, and this card has a active prompt inside. So it's not necessarily to do with reading. Some of them might be to do with the book in a sense, but they are shuffled. I have no idea which card is in there, but they are a little bit of a practical side of the challenge of doing something, hopefully something nice, whilst I have it. Once you see an example of this, I will also absolutely want you to suggest me some more in the comments, because I got like 20 something and I'm stumped and I want to like swap them out at some point. Although, again, they can repeat because it's gonna be different books and different comments. That being said, I'm gonna peel off Logan of his game and ask him to fill me as I roll the first roll of this game. I will also say this obviously is not properly weighted, it's a plush, but I'm gonna give it like a good squeeze in random places every time, so hopefully it's probably not like an even chance for every number, but hopefully it's random enough if I just give it a good squeeze. All right, we got an 8. Number 8. There we go. The reveal. Ta-da! So a little bit of horror, I guess. I have heard amazing things about this and it's not too long, so I'm quite happy that this is the first read. And our task... Why am I nervous for this one? Okay, the prompt is to declutter an area of my house or, you know, place whilst I'm listening to an audiobook. So I guess I'm trying to find an audiobook of this book. I'm hoping that it's good. I did give myself an option to swap it if it's not applicable, but I'm pretty sure this is like a well-known book enough to have an audiobook for it. There we have it. Number 8 is not too low, it's not too high. It's just because I've never read anything by the author and I'm a little bit worried that it's like, it's silly though, because it's like, I don't know why I have this idea in my mind, but I have a feeling that it's maybe a little bit lyrical and I have a hard time with lyrical writing. Like, I could be completely wrong and it might not be the vibe at all, but excited for it. Yeah, let's do it. It's quite funny because yesterday I have spent genuinely pretty much the entire day culling my bookshelves, just really being quite ruthless, and I haven't hauled quite a lot of things. The light here is funny. It's funny that the card that I get is for declutter, because technically I've literally spent yesterday doing that. I undeniably still have quite a few areas that I need to do that for. I don't think I'm gonna pick a big one for this particular one, but I have a couple in mind that I could do without dedicating, like, simply, there's one that I definitely need to do and soon, but that requires more brain power than I can allocate for now, because I think if I do that, I don't think that I can actually like listen to the audiobook at the same time. But I do have a drawer, could be a very good candidate, so I think we're gonna do that, but not today. I'm too tired from yesterday. So I do want to start it though. I have located an audiobook, I got it. The sample of it sounded promising narration wise, so I'm happy to go with it, and I'm not gonna replace the prompt. I've started another crochet blanket project for the year. This is like a different video, but I'm gonna be doing it's a granny square based one, so I'm gonna be doing one for Uzumaki that I have actually finished this year, so I'm counting it for this year. I have my colors. I'm gonna sit here and do that while I start the book, and I'll let you know how it is. I honestly don't know very much about it at all, other than it's supposed to be quite creepy, and that's actually about it. So I'll get back to you with a little bit more information on that. I just realized for those shots, these two, and that one clearly fell off at one point and I didn't put them in the right place, but I must swap them now. Oh! I was like, I cannot figure out what this shadow is, but it's actually from the mic fluff, like the little thing. But anyway, hello, I have a little update. I literally, this is just day 2. Genuinely, it's not even been long. So I've started this yesterday, and I am now here. I literally just have this little bit left. It's probably like, I kept swapping to physical and audiobook. The audiobook is actually really good. I got used to the voice fairly quickly, and I really enjoy it. This is what Every Heart a Doorway should have been to me. Like, this is what I was looking for, kind of, you know, more or less, in that book. But I'm having such a good time. I am invested. I am enamored by it. I am just thriving. I want to know more. I want to get the answers. I care relatively correct amount. It's just overall so good to have something that I don't want to put down and want to get back to. Like, I was working today and I was just like thinking like, oh, I can't wait to be done with work so I can get back to this, which is what you want from a book. So I stopped reading at like 1 o'clock yesterday because I was like, well, I have to fall asleep, and also I was falling asleep, so I kind of needed to. I could have gone further. I could have just keep going. Like, that's, oh, love it. It's obviously not without flaws, but I'm just having such a good time, especially coming off my last read, which was Masters of Death, which started really well, but that didn't go on super well. This is also just so accessible and easy whilst being spooky but funny in places. It's hitting right currently. I'm very excited. The premise is that we're following 3 sisters, well, particularly one sister, the youngest one, and these sisters, like, something happened to them when they were young, They went to a family trip in Edinburgh, and the parents looked away for 1 second and the children were gone, and after a month they reappeared nearby the place, and they were naked and terrified, but they couldn't remember anything. When they were growing up, they seemed to have some powers over other people, especially manipulative powers or suggestive powers. There's a lot of tragedies surrounding them. I will say we get some snippets from the very beginning that did make me believe a certain thing that is a little bit, I mean, I guess it's a hard line because you want to have, you know, signs and snippets and hints at something throughout the book, so you're not just like, when the reveal comes to life, you're not just like, this is out of nowhere, but at the same time you don't want to be spoiled too early. And I feel like I caught on as to what's gonna happen really super early on, maybe a little bit too early. I think the hints were maybe too obvious, but that didn't really hinder my enjoyment. Maybe I just wish that they were a little bit later. We follow the youngest girl, who is the only one remaining at home. The middle sister is kind of like a punk rocky one, but has substance abuse issues. The older one is the mastermind, the one that both of the other ones really look out for or look up for. She's the one that is the planner. She's the one that is the leader, and the younger ones almost have like an obsession with her, and she has become extremely famous, so she's very well known, and she goes missing, and then the other two kind of have to go and find her. I'm gonna leave it at that, but obviously it has some horror aspects. There are some very nice descriptive aspects of the book that I thought were quite well done. I wouldn't say that it's too gory, but there are definitely gore elements, especially nature kind. Yeah, I'm happy with that. I'll leave it like that. But anyway, I would just sit and read this and then finish it, but I have my practical prompt. Underneath here is a basket that started off for like nail stuff, right? But now continued to be, I don't know where this goes, so I'm gonna throw it in here. This is not my biggest place of, I don't know where to put it, so it's gonna go here. There are worse places in the flat, so that's not good news for me, but it still is a mess. I do have extremely old like nail polishes, and it's all just such a mess in like smaller mess bags, and I want to just tidy it out. I have like a bag here, so it's gonna be perfect for the trash, because none of this is good enough to pass on, because it will be also out of date and whatnot. So that is the plan for the declutter whilst I listen to the remaining of the book. I think on an audiobook I probably have like an hour left. I don't know, this is probably not gonna take me an hour, but and I'm gonna tackle this and take my time with it. Zeus immediately is like, trash bag.
Chapter 21. I've been contemplating all my time. My thoughts make me tired, just running through my mind. Wonder if there's peace that I could find, instead of always being on the grind. I need a new purpose, I'm looking for so much more. Don't leave me here searching, you're just what I'm longing for. When times are getting crazy and everything seems hazy, is there some place for...
I've done it and it's finished. I tried to go for a walk and then I left and I realized it was raining pretty heavily, so came back up, sat here and finished it. I really enjoyed it. I ran it through Copile. It just got 5 stars. I think it was just the perfect length as well. Anything bigger than this, anything longer than this, I think would have dragged out. It was just so well edited. It's not necessarily a book that's going to stay with me like forever, but it was really satisfying at what it was trying to do. There were maybe some times that it felt a little bit like juvenile for the topic, but it was just, rather than being too annoying about it, it kind of provided a little balance. It honestly, in a sense, like despite it being a very different topic matter. Well, not really, because it's still like a missing person type of thing, I guess. But in a way, it reminded me a bit of a more fantasy horror version of Good Girl's Guide to Murder, which I know is maybe like a weird comparison or a parallel to draw, but if you like that, you might actually enjoy this. But yeah, very good start, and I have cleaned my drawer. It's now nice and tidy, and hopefully gonna stay like that for at least like 2 months. That's all I'm asking of myself. I was in absolutely no rush to read this, especially now. I would have probably waited for like spooky season to grab it, but by then I probably would have had other options on my mind, like newer releases or maybe some other books that I don't know. I had this for a while and I just never grabbed it, and if not for this project I probably wouldn't have, but I'm so happy that I did. This was definitely the read that I needed as well, so fingers crossed we continue this way, and let's see what's next. We got number 17, which is The Measure, which obviously also is a high number, so I'm quite happy because it's obviously something that I really wanted to read. Doesn't mean that it's gonna be good, but this is a speculative fiction, which you know is one of my faves. People wake up one day and they all open their front doors and they have a box left in front of their houses, and inside of the box there's a number of the amount of days they actually have left to live. Whether they open that box or if they don't is up to them, and I think it's kind of like more so exploring the decision making behind that and lives following that decision, question mark. I really don't know, but I'm excited to see. Just sounds like an interesting Black Mirror episode-esque read. Now for the actual task, we have it here. Why does it make me so nervous? I think because there's some of them that are quite like labor intensive. I feel. What is it? Make a mood board for it. Okay. Oh, that's fun. I genuinely have forgotten. That's quite fun, and it's also somewhat easy. I've not done many mood boards in my life though, so this is also going to be kind of novel. But we're gonna go on Pinterest. We're gonna do a little collage thing. I'm up for it. I think I need to know a little bit more about this, and obviously I'm gonna try not to spoil it with my mood board. But excited for it. This is, I think, a slightly longer book, but I'm literally only a day into this experiment. I'm not even in February technically yet, so we're already way ahead of the curve. I think I'm very happy with that. So let's go. Give me. Oh, why in the carrier? Oh, keeps coming back, but he already ate wet food and dry food. I was still feeling he has the munchies. Hi. Dissociating. Oh. I'm just here for some doctor appointments today, and I have a day off, so that's nice. But I have pretty much finished The Measure. I don't know what's happening with my reading. Why am I so quick all of a sudden? But that's all I did yesterday, was pretty much read this, and I have put the audiobook is on script, so I put that on as well, but I was reading physically for the most of it. I had a blood test out of the hand. Fantastic times. I have 19 minutes left and around a half an hour drive back home, so I'm gonna be finished. I'm slightly terrified though, because I was getting a little bit teary-eyed driving here, so that's obviously not great. I might have to just pause it and not listen if it gets sad. I am absolutely it's so bloody windy. I am loving it so much. It's like so as I said, people get the boxes and there's a string inside, and depending on what length the string is, like, people realize how to measure how much time you have left. But and we're following quite an expansive cast of characters. However, they are all somewhat related to one another. So it could be friends, it could be relatives, it could be, and they all then also like connect to one another later as well in some ways, which is very unrealistic, to be honest. A lot of, however, like, we're just gonna put that aside because it's just so good. As much as it is about the personal choices and personal impact, it's so much also about the society and what society has done with it and the government has done with it. One of the characters is someone who was running for a presidential spot. Absolute scumbag. There's like having a short string, meaning that you don't have long to live already, is just another way that people can now discriminate against you. And it's how different countries also tackle this new normal. And it's so interesting, and it also has a romance that I honestly felt like the first time I'm feeling like a little, oh, I want to kick my feet a little bit in a very long time, because I don't know why, but none of the romances I've been reading have been really hitting it, and this is such a minor one, to be honest, compared to everything else going on in the book, but I just genuinely am rooting for them. And anyway, it's just really enjoying it so much, despite the military chat in the book, because like, I mean, like, there's one character, well, there's two characters who are like kids in military academy. Nationalism seems very manipulative to me. I'm gonna leave it at that because I know there's opinions, so I'm not gonna but it's not my favorite topic to read about. But even despite that, because again, we have so many different characters, and also I can understand their perspective, which is what books are for. I'm thriving. This is the speculative that I like. It can absolutely be maybe too slow for some people. Like, it's not a very fast-paced one, and we follow, you know, support groups for people that are joining now because they need to deal with the decision that they made to open the box, and maybe the results were not what they wanted. But it's such a nice, like, found fam. Oh, it's just love it. Love it. Cannot see myself not loving it. In the last 19 minutes, I've put it to like a slow pace. I just want it to last, to be honest, because literally, again, this has all been read in 2 days again. So it's too fast. Like, that's the issue. Like, when I like something, and then if I don't love something, then it takes me for fucking ever. But like, if I'm really into it, I can't put it away. Very, very pleased with this. I mean, obviously it was on the 18th spot, but also just to follow up number 8, that was quite a success to this. What a great time. What a beautiful experience. Okay, I'm gonna go and I'll catch up with you on the other side. Well, as I said, I have finished this now and thoroughly enjoyed it. So now we gotta do the task for it, which was to create a mood board. So I'm just looking for a couple of images that I think would suit what we just had. So the first thing I obviously need to find is a mysterious box. Okay, there we go. I have done it with some struggle. It was actually kind of fun. So, well, I guess I'll put it on the screen either way, but we obviously have the box, which you know what it is for. And without saying too much, we just try to portray some of the loneliness, but also the joy and little moments that we could in there, and also a couple of places that I'm pretty sure where, like, one is definitely, Venice is definitely mentioned, and I want to say that a lot of it is in New York, but I could be wrong. Also, there's different places, so I've been there as well. But this was fun. This was a fun little task. But like, I can't get that lucky for the third time, but it'd be nice. Is that a 6? Oh. Alright. Well, pretty sure a lot of you can already guess what this is, but 9th house. I just don't know. I know this was like very beloved by a lot of people, but when it just came out, a lot of people also really were disappointed. So nervous for that. It's in the card. Oh, create a prediction bingo card for this book. Ooh, okay. I feel like I should probably say this was number 6 because, again, mixed reviews, mixed I don't know. Also, it's been a while since this was released, so I feel like I was very surprised by how many people were so excited about Hellbent when that was releasing, because originally I thought that it wasn't super well received, so I didn't necessarily rush to read it. I still want to, so that's exciting, and maybe now that the initial wave is further away, I can be less influenced on my expectations, I guess. But I basically just wasn't sure. I wasn't in any rush, but it obviously still made the shelf. I have now reread the synopsis, so I can kind of remember a little. Like, I know vaguely what it is about, and I know it was the first adult book, I believe, by Verdugo, and I adored Six of Crows and especially Crooked Kingdom. I really was not into Shadow and Bone. So it's like a 50-50 thing currently with the author. I do want to enjoy it, so I'm gonna go in with the expectation that I will like it. The premise sounds great. It's a little bit like if Rory from Gilmore Girls, or from the sound of the synopsis, it sounds like, you know, when Rory was going after the secret society in Yale, literally. And this person is also in Yale and been assigned to go after this secret society. But so it's like that, but darker, because there's actually like murders happening here, and I know that there's gonna be occult stuff. I just find it interesting, and it would be hilarious if that was slight inspiration for the actual thing. We'll see what the dark version of Rory goes to find the Life and Death Brigade is like. This is quite a chunky book, to be honest. I forgot that it's like it's like 500 pages or something, close to. It feels big. Oh, there's an annotated chapter at the end. I can't really make proper predictions for the book because I think that would be spoilery. So if I play with you and I say like, oh, this one came true, but then if it's significant to the plot, that would be spoilery, and I don't want to do that. Even though I do know that a large majority of people have read this, but in case you haven't, I want everyone. This is not a spoilery blog, so I want to avoid that. So we're gonna go with very insignificant guesses, I guess, which is gonna be funny because it's gonna be somewhat random, but I can get a couple noted, and then I guess if I get a bingo, which is, what is it? Is it like if you scroll it? What's a bingo, Logan? Or does it have to be all of it? A line. Okay, so if I get a line, I guess we could get some sort of reward. I mean, I did a massive unhold, but I've also not bought a book in months, so good on me. So I think we can allow myself, because I did have like something noted that I maybe wanted. So if I get a bingo, I get to get a book, one book, or maybe one book for every line crossed. I don't know how bingo works, can you tell? So, but now we have to have a couple of really obscure little, well, not obscure, but like insignificant bingo guesses. So I don't know how many we're doing. I guess I should draw it out first. So we're just gonna, wow. Oh, this is not even. That's okay. At the end. So I was like, this is not even. So we're gonna draw that and put notes in there. So how many? I mean, I don't want too many, to be honest, because I don't know if I'll be able to come up with them. So there we go. We have a grid. Okay, I feel like one should be... Oh, I should have had like a thing in the middle. I don't have middles. There's no middles here. Fantastic. We're just gonna do a little... One that should be fairly easy to get is what we go into the library. Because I'm sure we will. So that one's slightly, but we have to have some easier ones. We're not gonna count diagonals, though. We have to get like a line each way. Okay, let's guess that MC has... like main character has what hair? Blonde or brown or black? I'm gonna say brown hair. I have not seen any, or if I have seen, I can't remember seeing any artwork for it. So, eats cereal for breakfast. I was gonna say buttered toast, but I feel like that's more of a British thing. I don't know. Maybe it's not. The beans on toast would be, but I'm genuinely drawing like knowledge from Gilmore Girls. I was like, they always had cereal for breakfast. Okay, we find a secret room, like a hidden room, like like one of those like a hidden entrance, or you have to, I don't know, knock 5 times and something magically opens, like some sort of hidden place. We find a hidden place. Does she actually go to lectures? What does she study? Ooh, what's her major? Do they have major? Of course they have majors. Okay, wait. I feel like that's even an American thing. I don't think we've said majors here. We're just like, what do you study? Okay, so let's guess what she studies. I mean, Rory was studying journalism. Journalism or literature or the like. You know, like something along those lines could be so wrong. Oh my god. Oh, a lot of the things that I'm thinking of us like would be so spoilery. Okay, at some point we're gonna see some sort of symbol drawn on the floor, like a mysterious sacrificial, but not necessarily sacrificial, but like a symbol drawn on the floor. Someone gets expelled. Should we guess how it starts? Should we guess that it starts with a little flashback? Or like we have a flashback within the first 3 chapters? I'm gonna say that a plait skirt is mentioned. She's late to the class because she stayed up being obsessed about a detail that she's found. I'm not gonna say that, I'm just late to the class. I feel like the main like love interest is gonna be not painted in the like nice colors at first, for sure. Should we guess if a main romance person wears glasses? Wears glasses. I feel like that's not gonna be the case. Like glasses are just... But if it ever is possible, it's normally in a dark academia. Otherwise, I feel like ain't nobody's wearing glasses. Let's see if football is mentioned at some point. A roommate, best friend? If the main character is a bit gloomier, that could be the sunshine dynamic, like Wednesday. This probably is not gonna happen, but there is a snake. Ironically, it's not a YA, but it's a YA snake on the cover. So maybe there is a snake involved? I'm just gonna put snake. That's one of the things that just snake at some point maybe is involved. I somehow doubt it, but maybe the cover is actually... Oh no, animal sacrifice? Oh shoot, okay, I'm gonna put animal sacrifice. That it ends on a cliffhanger. Anyway, this is our official list. We have our silly list here. We'll see if any of that comes true. This is a popular book, so I feel like it could also be on Everend. It's not Scribd anymore, I guess. Which means that I wouldn't have to spend a credit, which means that I can also swap between physical and audiobook in case I want to do something, which I do. I need to design some bookmarks. Hopefully I'll love it, and that would be fantastic. But if I don't, then I don't. But don't be mad at me. Okay, not gonna lie, I put an audiobook on whilst I was cooking, and I think I'm gonna go back and read it physically, maybe with an audiobook to help, because I have no idea I'm not following. I feel like we were just being like thrown in there and being like, okay, good luck. So do we not have regular, like, what was she admitted to study? Because I need to know that for reasons. So far the first chapter though is not a flashback, but we still have two chances for that. I don't know what else was on the bingo card, but I'm not following. So, but you know, I was multitasking somewhat. I was making pasta, so it really wasn't multitasking much, but I feel like I'm not feeling dumb. I'm feeling dumb. So we're gonna restart this. Wait. However, upon rereading this, on the first page, it says, and Alex was late. No, Siri, stop it. And Alex was late. But she's fallen asleep in one of the Sterling Library reading rooms. In the first, well, there was a prologue, but in the first page of the first chapter, oh shit, Zeus has just sat on me, so I can't reach for my thing, but I can't, well, maybe I can. So we go to the library. The very first one, I can tick that off, or scroll it out, I guess. Cross it out. I don't know that I know her hair color yet. I'm kind of regretting not having it black. I did really think it could be like very gothy vibes, so I don't know why I put brown there. Should we change to black? Oh, but then if I change to brown is also very dark academia, but it could be a blonde gothic-y person, and also the author is blonde. I'm gonna put black. I'm gonna put black and then absolutely be wrong and regret it. Where is the is late? She's late to the class. I'm assuming the whatever is the class. Prognostication. She's late regardless to something relevant to the thing on the first page. I'm actually quite impressed with myself on that one. So already have 2 down. Yes. Maybe for every bingo I should get a book. I might not get anything. Maybe this was just a very lucky beginning, but I think I know why I was like not following. It's just they throw a lot of terms your way. Some of them are clearly just made up for this universe and, you know, like types of magics and whatnot, but it's not like oh, herbology where you're already familiar. And then you have,
Here's what I found.
oh, stop it. You know, the SSS and a bunch of names and people's names and I know there was a map at the beginning, so maybe it does actually show you where the places are, but terms, like acronyms, SSS, then there's NASDAQ, and then there's just a bunch of things thrown like in, literally I'm on page 5 of the chapter. So obviously things are gonna make sense, but like it's a lot at the beginning because I really struggle, as someone also slightly dyslexic, which is like I really struggle when not every word, not every word, but like quite a few words on a page don't quite make sense, on top of, you know, being not my first language. I think I struggle sometimes to then not drift away mentally away from that, and that's not great. So it's going much better upon a reread technically, so fingers crossed this helps, but I don't know if this counts, but chapter 2, it's not a flashback per se, but it is not present, like it goes to last fall. Does that count? Also, we have already talked about secret rooms and secret entrances, so I can mark it off as well. Hidden places. I mean, she did find them because she was introduced to them, so that counts to me. I don't know if this counts as a flashback. I think I have to think about it a little bit more, but... Hello, it is Friday. I am about 10 minutes away from spending it with Patreons. I'm very excited. We do Friday shenanigans. Very, very chill and relaxed. So I'm excited to spend the evening with them. But I thought I could update you. I am like 115 pages in. So like a decent amount. I don't know how I feel about it. I don't know. Like, I'm on the line of between being like interested sometimes, and then other times I'm just like, it could be a DNF. So I'm gonna give it another something. We'll see how I feel, but I don't know. It goes from like throwing acronyms and terms and just like info at us to also being kind of casual, which I kind of almost prefer, and then to being very slow, which normally I do like, but I don't know, some sort of combination of this just feels a little bit like unfinished. But I'm also not having as good of a time I did with the previous ones, which is so painful because it on paper, like this should be a really good read for me. Like maybe not perfect, but really, really ticking a lot of boxes. I guess I will update you on that. I don't think I have crossed anything since then as well. I don't think that, although I should check. Can you hear the wind? It's been ridiculous recently. It's like, I don't know what's happening. Well, global warming is what's happening, but I am pretty sure that the main character does actually have black hair, so I can cross that out. I'm very happy I swapped from brown. Don't think that we have had cereal for breakfast. I still don't know if she does or does not study journalism or literature or anything to do with that, because I don't think it's mentioned. It's driving me nuts. At 115 page mark, it must have been. I must have just missed it. But also, I asked a friend at work to check for me because they have already read the book, and so they couldn't be spoiled. So I was like, could you maybe check? And they checked and they couldn't find an answer. So maybe they are just like a generic student and they don't have like a route that they're studying. But I didn't know that was an option. Plaid skirts were definitely mentioned. I remember noting that, so I need to cross that out. I don't know if football was mentioned. I forgot to keep an eye on that, so I will continue to. Roommates are friends. I don't know if they're best friends yet, so I'm not gonna count that yet. I don't think a snake was mentioned. We did not have any animal sacrifices, thank God, yet. And obviously I don't know how it ends, if on cliffhanger or not. So currently we're looking like this. There are some possibilities for a new book, especially here. What is this? Eat cereal for breakfast. Come on. God, what's her name? I know it's Galaxy, but is it Lexi? Do we call her Lexi? Alex. I need you to eat cereal for breakfast so I can be fed also in different ways. That is the closest one that we have. Other than that, there are a couple of places where we have like 2 remaining. So a bit further away. I'm here, which I think is like 220 pages. Where I am at now is that I think I would rather watch Buffy, because I just started watching Buffy very randomly, than continue reading, which is not great, but I'm not at the point where I want to DNF, which is arguably the worst in a book, because at least when you're wanting to DNF, then you just DNF. I go through like stages of like really enjoying it to just being completely uninvolved in whatever is happening. However, we do get to cross out the word snake. And I've spoken to my patrons yesterday. Someone said that she's studying art. I'll write on that one and we don't get to cross that one, which is fine. So what I'm gonna do is I think I'm gonna swap to an audiobook for a little bit whilst I use up some of my yarn. Because this massive yarn is the yarn that I first bought years ago for my first blanket project, when I didn't quite know how actually chunky this is when you crochet with it. So now that I'm working with much smaller yarn as well, I need another basket. So I thought I can maybe work it up and make a basket out of the ones that I have. I think I might do, oh, this is a different one. Oh, do I only have one? Oh no, I can see another one. So I only have these 2 already started skeins of the white, which I think I'm gonna maybe do no one can really see the base though. Maybe I'll do the base with the gray, have some gray there, and then I'm gonna do white, and then I'm gonna do burnt orange, I think. I was making this basket. It turned out so much bigger than I thought. It's quite like squishy though, but it obviously holds holds the shape once you have stuff in it. But it's pretty it's pretty ginormous. I quite like it. It actually fits all of my little skeins for the blanket project, so that's great because I was using 2 separate ones previously, so it's working out pretty well for that purpose. I kept running into the same kind of issue while trying to crochet this, because the cats really thought that this is for them, as they do with every single thing I do in my life. They're not wrong, but they're not correct either. But whilst it was very cute, it did delay me a little bit. In good ? News is I did finish this. In not so good news is I didn't love it. I just think it's not for me. It was one of those where I kept getting into it and kept thinking maybe I should DNF it. It just did not hold my attention long enough, which is such a sad thing, because on paper, again, it should be something that I really like. At the end, I completely zoned out. I'm not gonna lie. It was really hard for me to focus on it. It took me really convincing myself to pick it back up, but I was at a point where it was silly to to not finish it at that point, which I feel is an attitude or a mindset I really did get over until I started this bloody project for the blanket. Because I'm now like, well, I want to include, you know, we're just gonna finish it. So we're regressing in that attitude, so that's fun. Let me just check if we actually get to fulfill anything and get a book before we skedoodle. So, for what I know, they have not eaten cereal for breakfast throughout the book. I don't have a ebook to word search. I might have missed it. It is possible, but we're just gonna say no. So unfortunately, we do not get this one because I didn't flag it if they did have breakfast. That was cereal. Does not study journalism or literature, so we already won't have this or that. There was definitely a symbol drawn on the floor at one point, so we can scroll that out. And remember, I don't think anyone got expelled. I think there was a suspension, and not even at uni, it was like at school. So unfortunately, we don't even get that one. I'm gonna say that we do get a flashback within the first 3 chapters because I have decided to count the other timeline as a flashback, just because this is not going well. I wouldn't even say that there was necessarily a love interest. I don't know. So we're gonna skip that. You know, again, this is something that I wish I could word search in the book because maybe football was mentioned. However, there, you know what was mentioned? I should have said sports. I shouldn't have not. This was my mistake. I made it too specific. I should have broadened it out and said sports mentioned because it was, and it was really funny because it said lacrosse. And in the same sentence, it was like, oh, like a jock, like someone who plays lacrosse, which is something that I would never really put those two together. To me, that doesn't like, that's a very posh university thing, I feel. Is just, I'm gonna say no because I didn't catch it either. So at this point, we only have the very last line, and we already kind of failed because I would say that the best friend were not the roommates. The roommates were the ones that she just kept like putting up a front as to why she's going places. Snakes were mentioned, so we can cross that out. Oh my god, wait, we got it. I completely forgot about this. We still had this. I can buy a book. Yay. Okay, at least something good came out of this experience. I can't actually, I'm pretty sure they have mentioned animal sacrifices when they were talking about like previous stuff, but I'm not 100% sure. And I wouldn't say it ends on a cliffhanger. It mainly ends with like a very clear lead as to what's the next book going to be, which I will say the title of that now makes a lot of sense, but I wouldn't say that it's necessarily like a cliffhanger. It's more so just like, this is what we're gonna do now. So it's very clear that it's not a standalone and it's not gonna just like end here. And I think if the character that they are kind of seeking at the end there would have been a bit more present in the book, I would have maybe been a bit more interested in it. I think overall just the intrigue did not, like the mystery that they were presenting here, it was not mysterying. Like I didn't really necessarily care about the outcome of that. I did end up having at least one thing scrolled out, so we have a +1 book, but I will end up here because now we get to buy a book in next week's episode as well as start on a different role, and I think this is a perfect place to stop. I hope that you enjoyed it. Please let me know if you have any prompt suggestions for me to put into the books. I had a great time. I genuinely was so impressed by myself for reading as much as I did. I definitely can understand myself a little bit better knowing that I just read so much faster and I really struggle. If I'm not entirely enamored in a book, I just really am. I struggle so much, but I also am a slow reader, so it makes sense, but I have no chill if I really like the book, and that's all I do in general then. That becomes what I breathe. But I hope you enjoyed this. Let me know what you think, and I will see you in the next one regardless. But if you do enjoy liking this, maybe I'll do it for longer than just February, or just do it more often. But I guess we'll see. Thank you so much for watching, and have a good one. Bye.